If you're a dental implant dentist and you want to complete more dental implant cases before you close for Christmas this year, this video is for you. You don't have to hand over your email address or your phone number. All of the training is in this video right here, right now. I'm about to share a simple but highly effective technique you can implement in less than 2 hours to close more dental implant treatments before you close for Christmas. Now, just so that you know that I am talking from experience here, my name is Lizzie Mills. I am the co-founder of High Production Practice, and I have 5 years experience specifically helping dentists to market high production treatments like dental implants, All-on-X, Invisalign, and veneers. And in that time, I have overseen hundreds of thousands of dollars of ad spend, and I've seen what works best with dental marketing of high production treatments. But the technique I'm about to share doesn't require any ad spend, and you don't need to hire any marketers to help you implement it. What we are going to be doing is re-engaging all of the people that you have already treatment planned dental implants for, but they've not yet gone ahead with treatment. Now, I did not invent this technique. In fact, nobody in the dental world invented this technique. It was created by a guy called Dean Jackson, and he created it for email, and I just took the strategy and implemented it with SMS. And I've been using this in my own business and for my dental clients for over 5 years now. So what's the secret? It is called the 9-word SMS. You may have heard other people talking about it, but we're going to dive into the nuances of how to actually implement this in your practice. So the 9-word SMS literally says, "Hi name, are you still looking at getting dental implants? Regards, dental receptionist name, dental practice name, phone number." And the thing is, you do not add anything else. I have seen clients add, "Give us a call," or anything else that they want to bulk out the message, and then they wonder why it lost its effectiveness and they didn't get the response that they wanted. As Dean Jackson says, the reason this is so effective is because it appears to be a genuine one-on-one message. It doesn't look like a mass marketing email, and it kickstarts genuine relationships and genuine conversations via SMS. It's not a chance to drop in links or ask them to call. It's a chance to open up a conversation about where they're at in their decision-making process around getting dental implants. Now, to be fair, when we created that template, we actually added in the signature with your dental practice name with the phone number. And the reason for that is because you're in the healthcare space. I have sent this out in non-health related businesses, and we didn't necessarily sign off. We would just put a name like Lizzie or someone's first name. And it definitely gets a response because a lot of people have forgotten that they came in for an appointment. A lot of people have forgotten that you knew that they needed this help. And so they might say, "Who is this?" or "How did you know this?" or whatever it might be. And then it actually can turn into a productive conversation from there. In the healthcare space, that's not a good thing. You do not want patients freaking out about who has their private health information. So you want to make sure that you do acknowledge who it's from, so that there's a little bit of a trigger of, "Oh yes, it's so-and-so from that dental practice." So let's dive into how that you can actually implement this. It's all good in theory, but unless you implement it, it's not going to get you any new patients coming through to complete their treatment. So the first thing you need to do is export a list of all of the patients who have received a treatment plan for dental implants but not yet gone ahead with treatment from your practice management software. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have a receptionist to review the list and double check that it is appropriate for everyone on that list to receive this message. Now, the only reason why you'd want to remove someone from the list is because they've already gone ahead with a different treatment solution. For example, they might have got a dental bridge instead. And I don't think that your receptionist should be too picky about removing people. You do want to open up conversations with as many people as possible. But if you've already helped them in some other way, then just remove them from the list and make sure that the list is ready and prepared. Now, of course, you need to make sure that this list is kept private and secure and that you follow all of the proper data management practices required in your country. Then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to upload the list into an SMS platform like Podium, or even just send it from your practice management software. Now, ultimately, the biggest mistake to avoid when you send out the 9-word SMS is not having your team prepared to respond to the messages when they come through. The beauty of the 9-word SMS is that it creates a genuine connection, a one-on-one conversation. And if your team takes hours or even days to respond, it is going to undermine the results. It's going to undermine the trust and the connection. It's going to make the patient feel like you haven't got time for them and you don't care about having this conversation with them. And it will ultimately undermine the whole purpose of running this campaign. So there are actually 3 elements to overcoming and avoiding this mistake. The first is to clear your receptionist's schedule on the day that you send out the SMS. Now, obviously they can have general admin tasks to do for the day because they are unlikely to be literally SMSing people all day, but there should be tasks that they can quickly interrupt, put to the side, and answer the SMSs and keep that quick communication happening with the people who do respond and do engage with the 9-word SMS. The second is that the timing of the SMS is really important. You want to send this out on a Monday, a Tuesday, or a Wednesday so that if people respond to the SMS the next day or 2 days later, your team is still available to engage with the SMS and to keep the conversation going. And for that reason, I also recommend that you just send it out first thing in the morning so that you've got the whole day ahead of you to respond to any of the replies that come through. Now, the third element to help you avoid this mistake of not having your team prepared is a lot more nuanced and a lot more complex, and it's the fact that your team needs to have some basic training on how to communicate via SMS. I have been truly astounded by the responses that I have seen from teams who are well trained on the phone. Whenever you engage with them on the phone, they are empathetic and they connect really well with patients and they make patients feel safe. But for some reason, it does not translate to text, and I'm amazed at the errors that I see. And so I want to give some really simple frameworks to overcome that. Obviously, there could be a whole training and a whole coaching program all around how to communicate via SMS. That's not what this video is about. This is the quick, actionable stuff that you can do right now, even if you don't get it perfect, to get it done and to get some more cases finished by the end of the year. So we're going to dive into just a really simple response framework that your team can use when they are engaging in this conversation. But the key thing to keep in mind is honestly reread a couple of times what you're going to send before you send it. Just think about it from the patient's perspective, and is it going to sound in any way negative or aggressive or dismissive. Those are a few things that it's surprising, but it happens. So the framework for response. The first thing you want to do is acknowledge whatever the person said. This sounds so simple, it sounds so obvious, but I am amazed at the number of teams that just don't do this. They just blaze ahead and almost act as if the response didn't happen or half happened. It's very bizarre. So acknowledge what the person said. A simple, thanks for sharing that, or it sounds like you've been having a really rough time, or something that is relevant to what that person said. Just acknowledge what they said before you move on with the rest of the message. The second thing is to respond to any questions that they had. Don't ignore them, and generally don't just flip it to, oh, that's something you need to speak to the dentist about. Be very careful with how you phrase things. If there is a longer conversation that's needed, it's okay to ask if now's a good time to have a call because a more in-depth answer is responded. But generally speaking, you want to do this conversation via SMS and just keep them moving towards getting booked in. So answer any questions they might have, ask any clarifying questions you might need to ask. And the final part of literally every message in this conversation is to continue to ask questions. You want to continue to get a response, and not just vague ones like, do you have any questions, but little short things that are easy for them to answer. What day of the week works best for them for an appointment? Little things that are easy for them to just answer, go back and forward, and get an appointment booked in. So that's the framework. Acknowledge what they said, answer any questions they have, and ask them questions to keep the conversation going. But there are a few more tips I have just generally around how to do these SMS communications. So the first is, unless you feel like it's really necessary to transition to a phone call, aim to make the appointment via SMS. The person has engaged with an SMS. You can actually go ahead and get the time confirmed through SMS. So keep persevering, keep the conversation happening naturally, and whatever you do, do not say, great, well, give us a call when you're ready to book in. You want to keep them moving, keep the momentum, and get them booked in. You don't want to send big walls of text. This should feel like a natural conversation that you might have with a friend or a family member. It's professional, your language and your spelling of your words and things is more important in this context, but it should feel just as natural as talking to a friend or a family member. And finally, follow up. We have all opened up a message that we have intended to respond to, and we get interrupted and we forget and we simply don't remember to come back to it. So if these people have been engaging with you, chatting with you, follow up. You follow up the same day, follow up the next day, follow up again. Just keep that line of communication going. And again, don't get passive aggressive when you are following up with someone who has been unresponsive. It's just, you've got to keep it top of mind. There are other things going on in their world. You've got to keep raising it up into the top of their messages so that they can move forward. The other group of people that you want to follow up with are the people who actually didn't respond to the SMS. Again, these are still your patients. You've still created treatment plans for them. Maybe they didn't have time to respond. Maybe they don't like responding via SMSs. It's worth picking up the phone and talking to them. And so whether you reach them on the phone, whether you hit voicemail, you can literally open with the 9-word script. Hi so-and-so, it's Lizzie from dental practice. And I'm just calling to follow up on whether you're still looking at getting dental implants. Now, obviously, you can connect in other ways if you really know that patient well, if you know their family and all of those things. You can have a very authentic conversation, but that's the reason you're calling. And don't forget that that is the purpose of why you're making these calls. So that is it. I hope this training has been helpful to you, but more than that, I hope that you go out and actually put this into action. So you can save this video, you can rewatch this video, you can send this video to your team. But what I wanted to do was make it really easy for you to go ahead and just put this into action. So I have made a PDF of everything I've talked about here with the checklists, with the structure for how to have the conversations, and you can put in your information. There will be a button somewhere. If you click that, it'll go through to the next page and you can give me your name and your email and your phone number and tell me where I should send the PDF to, and I will send it through to you. You can print it off and your team can action it. And my challenge to you would be, send this through to your team immediately and get it booked in. Say, let's do this. Let's give it a shot and let's get this booked in. We'll block out the time and we'll implement this in our practice. And when you do that, I would love to hear from you. Send me an email at lizzie@highproductionpractice.com. That's LIZZIE at highproductionpractice.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Hope it helps.